Welcome back to Lewy Body and Mindful Caregiving. I'm Krystal Jakosky, and I'm glad that you're here. We always start with self-care. So what self-care did I do? It's winter, so I really like to just cozy up and be in warm, long sleeve clothes and wrapped up in a blanket, have some hot tea and read a good book or be productive in the house. So that's what I'm doing. And I really hope that you are taking care of yourself and finding things that bring you a little bit of joy and fill your cup some. This week, I want to talk about a meeting that I had with my talk doc, and she is fabulous. I've talked before about the need to have a therapist and more specifically, a counselor who specializes in caregiving because or caregivers of people who have terminal illnesses. Um, and I say that because they are going to understand more fully what you're going through than a standard counselor, a standard family counselor. There are unique dimensions, um, facets to being a caregiver and the challenges and the worries and the uncertainty that you will go through. So having a caregiver who recognizes the overall picture, the decline of your loved one, and the challenges that you yourself will be facing is just, it's a gift. It really, truly is a gift because they can understand and they can help you work it through. So I have been in my life a go, 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 get it done, active at it, attacking life. And um integrity has been a huge part of my life. If I tell you I'm going to do it, you bet your butt I am going to do everything that I possibly can to follow through on whatever it is that I told you that I would do. And um I hold that high bar for myself. And the thing is that I also hold that high bar for other people, that if you tell me you're going to do something, I really expect you to do it. And if you don't do it, then I am really upset and I feel very let down. And I might wonder if I can trust you again the next time. And instead of asking you for help, I'll probably just do it myself because I don't know that you are actually going to follow through. Um, and I value that. And it can be a detriment because because it can oh, it can be an unrealistic expectation for myself and others for sure. Um, it means that in holding myself to that high standard, sometimes I agree to something ahead of time. And then as the time arrives to go do it, I am tired and tapped out and don't really want to do it, but I push myself to do it anyway because I mea culpa, beat myself over the back instead of giving myself permission to say, you know what, I love you. And I am so grateful that you asked me for whatever it is, asked me to join you on whatever it is. I just need to give myself permission to not right now because I can't. I am tapped out and I'm not feeling well. Instead, I'm like, well, Krystal, pull up your bootstraps and let's just dig in and make sure that this happens. And so it's it's been a double-edged sword. It means that I'm super productive and I get a ton of stuff done. And then it also means that on occasion when I'm tired from getting so much stuff done, I don't necessarily grant myself permission to take a step back. And I've noticed lately that I am forgetting things. I say, yes, I'll get that done. And then I recognize later that, oh, shoot, I didn't do that. I wonder if it's too late to do it now or if they're going to be upset with me because they really needed. I guess I'm going to give them that information because at least I sent it. Then I can just apologize for sending it late. Um, I've been letting dishes pile up in the sink or on the counter, and that used to drive me nuts. That used to be one of my biggest pet peeves. When I went to bed, I wanted all of the kitchen done. I wanted the house picked up because it meant that the house was put to bed and I was able to go to bed relaxed, knowing everything was done and didn't have anything to get up for in the morning. But lately I'm just like, I don't care. And I go to bed. And that means that sometimes I do the dishes the next day. Sometimes I leave them for 2 days. I know that's horrible to admit. Um, or maybe that's only my own judgment. I don't know. Sometimes my husband does them. Sometimes we both look at each other and go, okay, we let that go long enough. I guess let's both go in the kitchen and get things done. Um, and it's because we're cooking, we're cooking and making stuff and we wash the dishes that we need so that we can cook something else. I've started a few projects and instead of finishing the projects, I just set them aside and I say, I'll come back to them later. I was binding a quilt and I only had like 10 inches left on the edge. And I actually went to bed instead of finishing 10 inches of binding, which is crazy, like just not like me. And so I noticed that I was doing this with people and with things in the house. And it was bothering me. It was really bothering me. So I went into my talk doc and I said, hey, I don't really know why I'm here. I think I'm doing pretty good. And she goes, oh, really? You think you're doing pretty good? And I said, yeah, I am. I'm pretty pleased with life. I'm pretty pleased. Like I feel as though I've let some of the strain and concern about mom settle. I feel as though I've accepted things a little bit more. And instead of having the chicken little stress all the time, I feel like I'm more okay. Yeah. So that's going to happen. And we're going to have change and we're going to have to float through that change. We're going to have to figure it out, but that's okay. We can do that. I feel like I'm handling things better. And then we start talking. And then I said, yeah, but, and I told her about the things that I recognized that I was letting things slide. And that was really upsetting to me. And she said, Krystal, here's the deal. There are a lot of people that operate at that 90 to 100% all the time. And that is a huge, high standard and expectation to hold yourself to. And the fact of the matter is that when you are under prolonged states of stress, I've been under this for quite some time. When you're under these prolonged amounts of like heavy amounts of stress, eventually your body says, I can't operate at the level that I was operating at. So what used to be 90 to 100, I can probably do 80 to 90 now, or 75 to 85% now. But because our body is under so much stress and I need to keep refueling and take care of myself, then I can't do the 90 to 100. It's just not going to happen. And it's not that you consciously think this. It's not that you consciously are aware that you're doing it. It's that physically your body dials back because the stress is too much and it cannot continue at that level. Now, knowing this, I feel a little bit better because I was really starting to worry. There was part of me that was worrying that uh, this is a little bit sarcastic and snarky, but that my mom's forgetfulness was wearing off on me. That, oh crap, well, she's forgetful, so it's okay. I'm just taking on some of her attributes and her traits, and that's okay. But that while I was trying to excuse that away and say it was okay, realistically inside, it was so upsetting and so stressful. Every time I came back and recognized, oh, I missed that one. I gotta go. On the one hand, I was kicking myself in the butt. And on the other hand, I was trying to make a joke out of it. I was trying to lighten the mood so that I didn't beat myself up quite so much concerning the fact that mom and I are so bonded together. And that didn't necessarily make it better. It just was my quirky way of trying to, it's okay. It's all right. So having my talk doc, who is well versed in caregiving and knows what caregivers go through, was able to say, hey, it's absolutely normal. You've been under a very, very heavy weight of stress for a very long time. And it is extremely common for people to have to slow down a little bit and not be able to do that 90 to 100 that they used to do. And it may come back later, but this might be your new normal. And it's okay for it to be your new normal, especially when you acknowledge everything that you're doing, where you're at, and how you're supporting your mom. So give yourself a little break, acknowledging that you're not 100%, acknowledging that there will be challenges, acknowledging that there will be overwhelm, giving yourself permission to not complete everything is a gift to yourself. Knowing that you won't be 100%. Perhaps now is time for lists. Perhaps now is time for you to start writing down all of the things that you want to or need to achieve. Perhaps now is when you reach out to people and say, hey, I'm just not quite all there. So thanks for being patient with me. And other people, it's, hey, I need a little bit of help so that I can have a little bit of a break and be okay. Recognizing that I'm at 75 to 85% or 80 to 90, whatever number you want to put in there, means that I might dial back the amount of things that I put on my own plate. Instead of saying, I'm going to achieve all of this, I can say, I'm going to achieve this. And then if there's more time and energy, then I'll do this and this. So I have my goal for the day, and then I have my stretch goals for the day. And that feels a lot better than, well, I had all of this that I wanted to get done, but I only did 80% of it, which means that now that additional 20% has to go on another day and I've got to get it done. Acknowledging that you are falling back just a little bit, acknowledging that your body is under all that stress and needs a little bit of a break means that you can now act and plan accordingly. What can you take off the plate and what can you stop putting on? How can you learn to say those two little letters? No. When somebody says, hey, we're going to go do this, you can say, that sounds like a lot of fun. And if I have 2 hours to go do something fun, is that and being with people going to fill my cup, or would this fill my cup a little bit more? How can I balance that out? How can I look at my own needs and take care of them a little bit more? How can I put myself a little bit higher up on that priority list? Give myself compassion and understanding, knowing that it's okay. On the days that you have 80% and you give 80%, you do realize that you still gave 100%, right? Let me say that again. On the days that you have 80% and you give 80%, you realize that you just gave 100%. You gave everything that you had in that day, in that experience, in that life moment. You gave what you had. You did what you could. And because of that, you are a major success. Pat yourself on the back instead of saying, God, I suck. Because that's not true. You're doing fabulous. You are working through this the best way that you can. Pull the support in that you need. Give yourself self-care, give yourself compassion and understanding, recognizing that you have taken on a huge responsibility in addition to all of the other responsibilities and challenges and life stuff that you are already doing. When you're already giving 100% in your life and then something else comes on and says, this is going to be an extended thing and you need to be here for a long time and it's going to be heavy. How can you keep giving 100% over here when you have to give a percentage over here too? There has to be a give and take. There has to be a balance. And somewhere in the middle has to be you and your needs and building yourself up so that you can manage and maintain everything that's there. You've got this. You can do it. It's scary, it's overwhelming, it's stressful, and yet it's doable. You're not alone. A lot, millions of people have gone through this, and they're still doing okay. So, I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. I'm gonna stop preaching at you. I'm gonna send you a little bit of love or a lot of love, a nice big squeeze because we all need it. And I'm gonna continue patting myself on the back for the 75 to 80% that I'm giving, knowing that that's actually 100% because that's what my body, my mind, my emotions can do. Until next week, I look forward to seeing you again on Lewy Body and Mindful Caregiving.